Welcome to Module 2. Yay! You'll notice this module only has 19 lessons in it, where Module 1 had 29 lessons in it. So this module will go a lot quicker than Module 1. Additionally, I think Module 2 will be a little bit easier because it has a lot of topics that you've already done from elementary school, like division and fraction. So at least you'll have a foundation to build upon. But there are some differences as to what you're probably used to or the way you're used to learning it. But I think it's going to be a good unit, and I'm looking forward to it. So today let's start with Lesson 1, Interpreting Division of a Whole Number by a Fraction using visual models. The whole purpose is for you to understand what it means. We're not just going to do a bunch of steps so you know how to get the answer. We're going to see what it all means when we're dividing fractions. So right now, on your paper, draw a model of the fraction 5, 6. Right back to what we did in Module 1 with our tape diagrams. So go ahead and draw a model of the fraction 5, 6, or 5 out of 6. Okay, we could do a tape diagram. 6 sections, 1, 5. So that's 5, 6, or 5 out of 6. Did anybody draw something differently? Draw it a different way? From elementary school, even in kindergarten, we saw all that you could do circles and pie pieces, or like a building, 5 out of 6. There's different ways, so let's just stick with the tape diagram because that's what we're familiar with from Module 1. Okay, so what does this mean? Well, we know that it means 5 out of 6. But what else does it mean? What did we say that that fraction bar could represent? So what did we say that that fraction bar could also mean? Division. So how else could we read this?
5 divided by 6.
Right, 5 divided by 6. So 5 is our part, 6 is our whole. So this could also mean part divided by a whole. And that's also what a fraction can show. A fraction shows division of the numerator by the denominator. In other words, a fraction shows a part being divided by a whole. This part you don't have to copy into your notes. Fractions are numbers. Therefore, they can be added, subtracted, multiplied, or divided. Now, you did addition, subtraction, and multiplication in elementary school, and we're not going to spend time reviewing that. That'll all be on your cumulative reviews. We're going to start by looking at division today. Okay, so let's start looking at division of fractions. Maria has 3/4 of a pound of trail mix. She needs to share it equally among 6 friends. How much will each friend be given? So first of all, what is this question asking us? I have this bag. I have a bag of trail mix. Yum. Take out all the M&Ms. My bag of trail mix, I have to separate it, split it up into 6 bowls or 6 groups. So what am I doing with my bag of trail mix? I have to do what? To separate it into 6 groups. I'm dividing. So I'm dividing my 3/4 of a pound, and I'm dividing it between 6 people. Okay? How much is each person going to get? Like, what parts? I'm separating it. You're going to get 1/6. So if it was a whole bag, pretend it was a whole bag. My whole bag, if I'm separating it to 6 people, everybody gets 1/6, right? Everybody, but do I have a whole pound? No. So it's not as easy as saying 1/6. What I have to do is find 1/6 of 3/4. I need to find 1/6 of 3/4 because you're going to get a 6, you're going to get a 6, you're going to get a 6, right? If I take that one bag and separate it 6 ways.
Isn't she getting any trail mix?
Well, she's one of the friends. Okay. Okay. Maybe she's allergic to nuts. We're going to do it by 6. So let's look at how we can model it. Well, one way we can model it is with our number line. Okay, so here's our number line. 1, 2, 3, and then our whole. So we have our 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, and then 4/4, which is a whole. And you should be drawing this in your notes. We have our good old friend tape diagram. So here's our whole 1 pound, but we don't have a whole pound. We have 3/4. We are only going to concentrate on our 3/4. I highly recommend that you use colored pencils for your homework tonight. So here's my 3/4. That's the only part that is getting split up. How much am I splitting it up? 6. So I'm going to take a different color and let's separate it into 6. Do I now have, oh, and we have to do this one too. We have to do the whole thing evenly. All of the sections get broken. So I could take the 3 shaded in, and if I divide them in half, now I have 6, right? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I took my 3/4 and divided it into 6 sections. Now let's take a look at the tape diagram. How many sections are there? There are 8 sections now. How many is each person going to get? How many 8ths is each person going to get? 1/8. So each person is going to get 1/8. I'm going to flip to the next screen so we can take a look at this number line. So we took our 3/4. Okay, whoopsie. And we separated it into our 6 sections. So it's 1/8. So you could write this sentence on your paper too. 3/4 divided by 6 is 1/8. This visual model also shows that 1/6 of 3/4 is 1/8. And this is going to become clearer as we practice it more.
I get the tape diagram, but above it.
So what we did was on the number line, and we're going to lose the number line after this example. The number line helped us set up our tape diagram. So here, this was 1/4. We cut it in half. This was 2/4. That was 3/4. So just like we cut the picture in half, we cut our number line also.
Whenever you put it in half, it has to go over.
Well, this time we cut it in half because we had 3 boxes. We had 1, 2, 3/4. So to go from 3 to 6, cutting it in half worked because that gave us our 6. We're not always going to cut it in half. Not always. It depends what the question is asking us. So everybody should have this sentence written down in their notes. And then we'll try another one. This is one way to look at it, where it's stretched out and we cut it up. Okay, we're going to look at a different way to cut it up now. We ready? All right. Imagine you have 2/5 of a cup of frosting that you need to share equally between 3 desserts. That was me for Thanksgiving. All right, we made turkey cupcakes, I made pilgrim hats, I had all these different desserts that I was making, and I had to make sure that I stretched it all out. So I have 2/5 of a cup of frosting to share between 3. So how would we write that as a division? How would I write that as a division sentence?
2 divided by 5.
Well, we have 2/5 of the cup that we have to divide between 3 desserts. So each dessert is going to get what? 1/3 of the 2/5, right? So if I have that, I have to separate it into 3. So this cupcake is going to get 1/3, this cookie's going to get 1/3, and my other dessert's going to get 1/3. You understand how that is? All right. So these mean the same thing. So let's start by drawing our model of 2/5. So right here, 2/5. Did they give you the box, right? So shade in 2/5 very lightly because you still want to see them. Now I could take each column and separate it into thirds, right? That's what we did on the first example. But let's do this one a little bit differently. We have to divide this by 3. So here is my whole. Don't do anything yet. Here's my whole, and it's broken into thirds, and I shaded in 1/3. Is everybody okay? I need you to come with me. I need only 1/3 of those 2/5. So where can I see the 1/3? Here's my 1/5, and here's my 2/5. My 2/5, I only need 1/3 of those. That's 1/3. Here's another third. Here's another third. I only need 1/3. How many boxes are there in that 1/3 of the 2/5? There's 2. But how many boxes total are in that diagram?
6.
No. In the whole diagram, there's 15. So when I took my 2, right here, 2/5, separated it into thirds, that gave me 2 out of 15. Even though we're only looking at the shaded part, we have to do it to the whole picture. We can't just break up part of it and not break up the rest of it. Okay?
How would those 2 boxes be a third?
Because, see the 2 blue sections here? See these 2 blue sections? That's my 2/3. The yellow is my 1/3. So I took the blue and divided it into thirds. But I have to do it to the whole picture. I can't just separate this into thirds or just that into thirds. I have to do it to the whole thing. So the blue and the yellow, where they cross and make green, that now is only 2 out of the 15.
I'm confused. I don't get how you, get 2/3.
Well, it was 2/5. This was 2/5. See our original picture? Here's your fifths. Here's 2 of the 5. Okay? I'm going to take those 2/5 and cut them into thirds. I don't need all of them. I only need one. That's 1/3. That's 1/3. That's 1/3. That's 1/5. That's 1/5. That's 1/5. That's 1/5. That's 1/5. So when I took my 2/5 and divided it by 3, I got 2 out of 15. We're going to do more practice. So here is your sentence that explains, we can explain that 2/5 divided by 3 is 2/15. If it was 2/3, instead of dividing it by 3s, suppose we divided it by 2/3, then we would have to look at the 2 rows. We needed 2/3. I'm going to do another one in a minute. Ready to try another one? This is why I think colored pencils would be helpful. And to get full credit for your homework, you have to be drawing these pictures. I need to see the visual models for you to get full credit for your homework. All right. 1/2 divided by 6. So let's start by showing 1/2. So go. Draw your model for 1/2. Yes.
It says for each question.
Oh, we're getting there. Yes, good for you for reading the directions. 1/2. So I'm going to take my half and divide it by 6. So this is again where your different colors will come in handy. Now this half I'm going to divide by 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Remember, 5 lines gives you 6 boxes. But if I do it to this half, I have to do it to the other half too. Okay? Now, of this half, we're only going to look at this half now. I broke it into how many sections? 6 sections. So one section is 1/6 of 1/2. And that's how we could write it as a multiplication. Because remember, of means to multiply. So 1/6 times 1/2. Now let's look and find out what the answer is. I'm looking at my half. That's a half. And I only want 1/6. In my new picture, what does this block represent? How many boxes are now in my whole diagram? 12. And how many are shaded in? 1. So 1/2 divided by 6 equals 1/12. And that's your answer. But the shaded area, that was 1/2. I don't want the whole half. I only want 1/6 of it because remember I divided it by 6. Think of it as that Kit Kat bar. We're separating it. So I took this half and separated it into 6. So 1/6 is now what? That's where your different colors are going to come in handy. Let's try number 2. 1/3 divided by 3. So let's start by drawing 1/3. Draw your model for 1/3. Now that 1/3, what do we want to divide it by? What do we want to divide the 1/3 by? 3. So let's divide each section into 3 pieces. So I shaded this in one color. You might want to shade it in another. So each box has to be divided by 3. So if I divided it by 3, here's my 1/3, divided it by 3. What is that now worth? What is 1/3 of 1/3? Or what is 1/3 times 1/3? So what is this? Now I've divided it by 3, so what is that worth? 1 out of how many boxes? 9. So your answer is 1/9.
How'd you know that you had that it was only this one?
Because that's what we shaded in. If it was if we were dividing it by 2/3, then we'd have to look at the next section too. Let's try the next one. 1/5 divided by 4. So let's start by drawing 1/5. Here's your hole. Let's separate it into fifths. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 lines gives me 5 boxes. Okay? And then the gray area shaded in 1/5. Down on the left. Now, we have to divide it by 4. So each fifth is divided by 4. So we could use a different color and divide it into 4 sections. So now what is that worth? What is 1/4 of 1/5? We ended up making a total of 20 boxes, and 1/4 of that 1/5 is 1/20th, and that's your answer. And remember, multiplying fractions. Remember how to do that? 1 times 1 is 1, 4 times 5 is 20. And that's what worked. Because I had to divide it by 4. So when I took this whole section and divided it by 4, that gave me 1/4, 1/4, 1/4, 1/4. So 1/4 of this 1/5, because this is only 1/5 of a bigger picture. We're like narrowing in. Okay? So that 1/4 of that 1/5 is only 1/20th of the bigger picture. Let's try making another one. This one's a little bit differently. 3/5 divided by 4. Let me shade this. Three-fifths divided by 4. Let's draw our 3/5. Okay, so far so good? Each one we're going to divide by 4. So there's 2 different ways we could do this. Don't do anything yet. We could go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So now that is 1/4. We could do it that way. But we're looking at 3/5. We can draw it this way. Now I have my 3/5. We can divide it in 4 like we did originally. Divide it by 4. So now we divided it in 4. Do you see the different color? Here's my 3/5 that I broke into a 4th. So it's like my Kit Kat bar. How many boxes are here? 1, 2, 3. Out of how many? There are 20 boxes here. So when you have a number other than 1 in your numerator, you're going to draw a model like this. Let's backtrack a minute and look. 1/2, we had 1/2, so we were able to do 1 row and it would work. We had 1/3, we could do 1 row tape diagram and it worked. 1/5, 1 row of a tape diagram and it worked. But now we have 3/5 that we're dividing. So because my numerator is not 1, I'm going to draw my model like this. Let's do this one again. The first step you're going to do is draw a model to represent 3/5. Thank you. Do you see the 3/5? So far, so good? I don't want the whole 3/5. I don't want that whole section. I only want a fourth of it. So I'm going to break this into 4 pieces so I don't have the whole thing. I'm going to karate chop it here, karate chop it here, karate chop it here. Because how many pieces are there now? 1/4, 1/4, 1/4, 1/4. So where do these two crisscross? 1/4 of 3/5 is right here. How many boxes fall in there? 1, 2, 3. But how many total boxes do I have now? 20. So 3/5 divided by 4, or you could write it 1/4 of 3/5. And that equals 3/20. You could use your multiplication to check that you did your picture correctly. Nicole.
You could just times it by the dot.
But you still have to be able to draw the picture. You don't have to do the multiplying, but the directions do ask you to write it as a multiplication equation and to draw your model. So for your homework, you need to make sure that you're writing the division equation, that you're drawing your model, and you're writing your multiplication equation. Your homework always has to be done on loose leaf. Well, it depends. If your numerator is 1, here's number 5. So 2/3 divided by 4. Is that what I just did? No. So here, 2/3 divided by 4. My numerator is not 1. So I need to do this model. So I draw my 2/3. 1, 2. So the gray area, do you see the gray area is 2/3. Now I'm going to take my 2/3, and separate them into fourths. Here is my 1/4 of my 2/3. So 1/4, don't leave yet, is how many boxes? 2 boxes out of how many? 12. And that can be reduced to 1/6, so that's your answer. How do you leave it? You're going to roll this copy down.